CEO, thank you for joining me for Barter Black's Today in Black History podcast, where we are spotlighting Black-owned businesses that you need to know. I am here today with Ms. Hope Brown, who is the owner of the Tax-Minded Bookkeeper, and she serves small to mid-sized business owners with their bookkeeping needs. Thank you, Hope, for joining me. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, Nicole. Thank you.
Good. Thank you for joining me. I'm super excited to actually host this podcast for Black History Month, because there's so many, business owners out there who aren't getting the recognition or the platform that they need. And we can help each other. That's what Barter Black is all about,
Absolutely.
helping each other.
Yes.
So I know what you do is very important when it comes to businesses. So tell me a little bit more about what you do and how you help business owners.
Sure. So, as you mentioned, so my company, the Tax Minded Bookkeeper, we support small to mid-sized business owners with bookkeeping just to make sure that they're compliant, IRS
Mm-hmm.
wise, and
Mm-hmm.
then also with tax planning and tax preparation.
Okay.
So, the finance part is never like sexy, like, all these other areas, but guys, it's so necessary for as a business owner. If you're a serious business owner and you're trying to grow your business effectively, you got to know your numbers during the year. You got to
Yeah.
have a tax strategy, all of that stuff. So that's a little bit about what I do to help business
Okay. Okay. So what goes into a tax strategy? Because most people
owners.
just, we go about our year
Mhm.
doing our business, and then we file our taxes. No one's thinking about it. I mean, we have, marketing strategies and, stuff like that. But what goes into a tax strategy?
Yeah, so let me put my tax hat on for a second. Yeah, so we're gonna be going back and forth between
Right.
bookkeeper and the tax thing. So think about it this way. The average American, like you mentioned, we look at taxes once a year. It's on our
Mm-hmm.
radar in, between like maybe mid-January to April. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't really think about it any other time during the year. But you gotta start thinking about, especially if you're a business owner, taxes like you're playing a game of chess. Okay.
Mm.
So
Okay.
meaning that you know your board, you know the strength of the different pieces, you know if you move this way, what the rewards or the consequences will be, versus if you
Mm.
move that man that way, what the reward or consequences will be.
Right.
So bringing this back to the tax planning, if we're sitting down earlier in the year, we can do things like really strategize about like, okay, so I'm making this much, for example. I know what my numbers are in the first quarter.
Okay.
I have this much to spend in expenses because I'm trying to, on purpose, keep my taxable income down.
Right.
Knowing the rules as far as, we've had a lot of opportunities in the last couple of years with understanding the employee retention credits and things like
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
yeah, like it's been a lot of benefit because this country actually rewards you as a business owner, but
They
you got
really
to
do.
learn the rules and the laws of what to legally do to play that
Yeah.
game. Yeah, and win it. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I was just having this conversation yesterday
Ah,
um with my brother, and I'm just like,
mhm.
start a business.
Yeah,
You're afraid of taxes. Start a business. Like, it's the
start a business.
best
It will
thing
be life
ever.
changing. It will be. I mean, of course, you want to be able to start a business that is in the business of making money, a profit.
Right.
We're not talking about like a hobby, guys. We're
Right.
talking about
Right.
something
No.
that you're doing to intentionally with the main purpose of making money.
Right.
Making because the IRS will look at things like that.
Uh-huh.
At least by that third year, they want to
Mm-hmm.
see something kind of popping off a little bit.
Right.
But still, the advantages of being able to write off certain parts of your life outweigh, any other kind of apprehension you might have. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So how we're going to go back to bookkeeping. How does bookkeeping, I mean, I guess it's bookkeeping and taxes really. How does bookkeeping actually save money for a business,
mhm.
and how?
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. So for example, we've been doing a lot of closeout meetings with clients who I've been providing bookkeeping services with. We're in December, the last month of the
Okay.
year. So but during the year, like I had one of my clients come to me and we were going through the financial reports, which is a great benefit of having
Mm-hmm.
bookkeeping, timely bookkeeping during a year. You have that profit and loss, you have that balance sheet. You know how much money you're spending, making at any point, you know what your net income is, your gross income.
Right.
But she was at a point of wanting to grow her business and actually hire like another person, another doctor to come in to help with some of the
Okay.
mental health coaching and things like that. But it all comes down to those numbers. And
Mm.
fortunately we were able to go through the numbers, and she saw that, okay, I can actually afford someone to come in, to be an assistant for me.
Right.
So even,
Okay.
again, during the year, you're able to have real-time data to make those critical business decisions. That's just one example.
Mm-hmm.
You might be about to launch a product that you want to do some marketing on, but you want to see, okay, over the next couple of months, how that product's doing. You
Yeah.
have real data there available because you have either you're doing it yourself or you have a
Right.
bookkeeper who's doing it, and they're quantifying that data as you go during the year. So
Mm-hmm.
data is so powerful. People underestimate the power of having the right data in your hands to make decisions.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
definitely.
yeah. And I mean, and getting back to the IRS portion, the
Mm-hmm.
IRS actually requires you as a business owner to maintain records, uh,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
about your business transactions, because that's the same data, right or wrong, okay, which will be going into preparing your taxes later on,
Mm-hmm.
during the tax season. So they
Yeah.
want you to, it's actually tax law that supports the requirement of a business owner maintaining separate records and doing that record keeping activities for their business.
Okay. So
So you're being
what's
compliant too,
right,
is what I'm
right.
saying. Yeah.
You gotta
That's
do that.
that's a big deal. It's a big
So what stage of your business do you suggest you hire a bookkeeper in your business?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And I think that it can be different for different business owners. So
Okay.
one need that I saw when I started working as a bookkeeper is, there were people at the beginning of their entrepreneur journey. They really did need a bookkeeper or someone to help them at least set the foundation correct, but they
Right.
weren't big
Okay.
enough yet, or maybe they didn't, they couldn't afford it. So
Mhm.
one of the service offerings that I started putting into my business is I started doing like bookkeeping coaching. Like, so
Okay.
you can actually book with me like a 30-minute session or a 1 hour session, but we can go through and make sure that you at least have the foundation in place for good bookkeeping practice.
Right.
Because again, that requirement is there for you to do record keeping, small or big. If you get audited, they're going to come back to you. They're not going to care that this is your first year. But if
Right.
something's not right, they're going to want to see that track record.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're going to want to see like what's their record keeping. But
Yeah.
definitely, if as you start to grow, we were kind of joking, earlier, like, okay, I'm doing, I mean, as a business owner, I'm doing all these different things. I can't even concentrate on what my specialty is
Right.
because I'm doing all these other things, and I'm probably not
I'm
even
the
doing it as
team.
good, yeah, as someone else would be doing it who specializes in that area. So definitely as you're growing, just because I'm not, my whole thing with my clients is the extra thing that you get from me is not only am I a bookkeeper, like I have a lot
Mhm.
of bookkeeper colleagues who will come to me and they're asking me tax questions, but I'm a tax
Mm.
preparer too.
Right.
So,
That helps.
I'm
You both
preparing my
sides.
client during the year.
Mm.
Okay, you took that business trip. This is what we need documentation purposes.
Mm.
You took that client out for that meal. Okay, this is what we need for documentation purposes. So, as I mentioned, so I think what I'm saying is, as soon as you can get someone on your team who knows about bookkeeping, whether it's just ad hoc support every four
Okay.
months or
Okay.
immediately, you need that. You do
Okay.
need.
So any capacity, just get them.
Yeah, somebody who can help you really begin to understand the numbers in your business and how they work.
Right.
You need that.
So what would you say to someone who's because I've been there, embarrassed about how they,
Yeah,
held up
I know.
everything and wanted to transfer it over, and you're like, oh my goodness, this is
Yeah.
going to be horrific. What if
So it's funny you mention that. All right, Nicole, because mindset. Okay, so our
uh-huh.
minds are so powerful. And, in a lot of cases, we have a lot of new entrepreneurs who are coming into business, especially after the pandemic, COVID, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Yep.
And, the same kind of mindset you have about money and finances in your personal life, if you start a business, 9 out of 10, you're going to be
It's gonna
bringing
be
that into
same.
your business
Yeah.
life also. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you have like double levels of shame, not just, okay, I'm this big time CEO, I'm making all this money, but I don't even know how to read a profit and loss statement.
Right.
Like, I meet people like that. So, but it's not, but I think, the first step is you are like the owner of this business. So just like, I'm going to, my car. Okay. My car is clacking right now. And I'm under the hood trying to figure this out and figure that out. I'm not a mechanic. It's okay that I'm
Right.
not a mechanic. I don't have to feel bad about that. I just
Right.
need to get the right person on my team, the right auto mechanic, to be able to address that problem and walk me through, like, okay, Hope, this is that, this is that. Then we're all good. We got it together.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's just putting on your big boy pants, and being like, okay, I need someone, whether it's a CPA, whether it's a tax practitioner, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's a VA, like we were talking earlier,
Right.
whether it's a marketing specialist, like you cannot know all these different parts of like running your business.
Right.
But I do think that it is your responsibility, once you've identified maybe weak spot areas for you, to go
Okay.
out and get the right support that can
Okay.
help you become stronger in those areas.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes to your money, you want to have somebody that makes you feel comfortable,
Yeah,
not
that
that makes
too.
you feel like, ooh, I don't even want to talk to them. Like, that's
Right.
important. You wanna be with somebody you can relate with, who can
Right.
break that down for you and really help you understand, okay, this is where we're starting, this is what you have, these are how we look at things, etc.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Good
I don't
good
know how
to
to
know,
change my
because
own oil. I gotta go to the mechanic. It's all right.
right. Good to know,
Uh,
because
yeah,
we start a business and there's just certain things that we were not trained to do. And it's no
yeah.
way we can scale and grow our business without
It's
having particular
not.
people in these places that have the expertise that we don't.
Yeah, and you nailed it. And because I know highly educated people. For example, I was asked to come into a situation where it was like for lawyers, a classroom
Mm,
earlier this year.
okay.
Um, and I was like, wow, they don't know this stuff. And the professor said, well, think about it. They're being trained on law,
Right.
not tax law, but
Right.
law, or not bookkeeping, not financial stuff. So
Yeah.
it makes sense. So, we
Yeah.
all have our talents and gifts, like, everybody. So it doesn't matter how much of a degree you have or
Right.
not. If you don't understand your numbers, you just got to find some way or somehow or some person to help you feel more comfortable with them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This
I
is your
love that.
livelihood we're talking about. Yeah, you got to do it. Be bold. That's my
Yeah,
thing for 2023. Be
exactly. I
bold.
like that. Be bold.
Yes, that's
Let's
my
be
theme for 2023.
right, right, right. So we're already in February now. So it's
Hmm.
definitely time to be
Hmm.
bold because this is tax
Yes,
season.
yes.
So what tips um will you give people who need to know about preparing for their taxes? Like, before they come to you,
Hmm.
what tips do they need to prepare to come to
Yeah.
someone like you?
So organization. So if you want to make
Okay.
your tax preparer love you, well, let me not set the bar that high. Let me
Right.
just, okay, for regular people, let's just say your stuff has just been jacked up all year. Like, you try to go through the bank statements now, you don't, you're not. I would just say make the call, book the appointment.
Mm,
And, your tax person, especially if they're, again, you want to be working with someone who's communicative, you feel
right,
comfortable with, who's not, I mean, yeah, we had a bad year. We didn't organize, but
right.
February is still early enough.
Yeah.
We have time to help you get organized, to give you templates, to kind of give you a list of directions on what you'll need to do. And
Okay.
for the most part, that's going to mean like we're going to have to go through, depending on how unorganized or organized you were with business expenses, we got to know the gross you made. We got to know
Mm,
the expenses, breaking them down into categories and things like that.
okay.
I'm probably going to want to know, did you make any estimated payments during the year? That's huge
Mm,
for a lot of entrepreneurs. They don't realize that they're supposed to be, doing that
right,
during the year.
right.
Another supporting point for bookkeeping. So you
Mm-hmm.
don't even know how much estimated taxes to pay. But
Yeah.
just getting that data organized and ready for your tax person is going to make a world of difference because the main thing is we don't want you to miss any opportunities to maximize tax savings
Right,
for write-offs. So,
right.
I would definitely say start early getting that
Yeah.
data together. Yeah.
Yeah. So my next, it's funny you say, I mean, you can answer it again, but
Mhm, mhm.
my next question was, what's something that we normally miss in bookkeeping or
Oh,
taxes
yeah.
when we're doing it? And I think the estimated payments are definitely one of the
Yeah.
things that
It's
we
yeah.
definitely miss.
It's bad because it scares people. I mean, think about it this way. A majority of the entrepreneur workforce, especially the newer people, they're coming from a W-2 background,
Mm-hmm.
and this
Yeah.
country is a pay-as-you-go tax system.
Yeah.
But when you work for somebody else, they take care of all of that stuff. You just get your net pay. They've taken care of paying federal, state,
Everything.
if everything, Medicare, Social Security. But when you work for yourself, when you have your own company, you are the company. So
Yeah.
that responsibility falls on you. So, but a lot
Mm.
of people don't understand that they are on the hook to pay possibly, well, state tax, depending on where you live. All states don't have tax
Right.
obligations,
Right.
or income tax obligations, but definitely federal if you're making a profit. Um, Also, self-employment tax is part of that. That's a whole nother
Mm-hmm.
conversation, but it's 15.3% of your net income. So just more reasons why it's good to work with someone who can help you understand what your
Yeah.
numbers are in a year. You may not even be making like a net profit. Okay.
Right.
So you don't owe anything. But if you are, that's when those conversations need to happen for sure.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
think there's
tracking that,
definitely.
yeah, because I've had people who they'll make those payments, but then they forget they make them, because they're not. It's like, wait a minute, you get so
You
just
made them
organization.
already.
Yeah, organization is key. It is key.
Okay. Cool.
Um,
So.
and you were talking about missed opportunities because I see people not really either they're trying to wing it to do their own taxes
Mm-hmm.
and they don't know the benefits. But like the home office deduction, I see people jack
Mm.
that up. A lot of people who are driving. Sorry, we're
That's
driving.
okay. We do. We
And
do.
you guys,
Look,
I've
we gonna
been
keep it
there.
real.
Let me tell you something. All of the stuff that we're talking about, I've been that person.
Right.
It's one
Right.
of my first business ventures, like 20, 25 years ago. So let's just say
Nice.
hope is not perfect. Okay. So not trying to make anyone feel bad at all. But another big one I see people miss are the processing fees. As
Mm.
business owners, we're all receiving these payments in some form or another,
Yeah.
but those processing fees can get quite expensive. But
Yeah.
people forget, you're probably going to get that 1099K for the gross amount, you know,
Right.
but remember those processing fees that company charged you so that
Mm-hmm.
you can write those off as an expense also.
I love that you said that.
Mhm.
I'm gonna
Mhm.
go. I'm gonna go a little off topic right now.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm. I
Uh-oh.
love that you just said that right now. The processing
Mhm.
fees. So
Yes.
because I really have a problem when someone charges me extra to pay them because of the processing fees. And I'm just like, but aren't you writing this off on your taxes? So is it that they don't know that they can write it off on their taxes, or are they getting over on us?
Yeah, I think that's sometimes people don't really know what's
Mm,
deductible and what's not, which is again, while, so everything I'm saying is just general information. So
yeah,
definitely consult your tax person for your individual situation. But yeah,
right,
a lot of people, like I say, again, they're coming from a W-2 background. So they never really had to look at the tax law from a business perspective to see what they could write off. And they're missing one of the best parts of being a business owner, the
right,
write-offs, because they just don't know. I mean, everybody knows about certain ones, but
right.
unless you're seeing this stuff, frequently, often, or whatever, you're missing stuff. I guarantee. I can look
It,
at most people's returns. If they've been doing their returns themselves for the last couple of years, it's a high probability that I can look at your return and see, like, okay, so what about this? Did we miss
mm-hmm,
that? Or
mm-hmm.
maybe you weren't supposed to do that. So
Say it
anyway,
goes both ways, huh?
yeah, yeah. But it's
Yeah,
the price of doing business, man. The
right.
price of doing business.
Yeah, and price of not knowing, like not
Yeah,
having
yeah.
the expert
You-
on your
you-
side to help you through
Yeah,
the process.
yeah. You're still paying. You don't know you're paying, but you're
Right.
still paying. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, those processing fee things just drive me
I
absolutely
can
insane.
tell.
I'm
We hit a
like,
nerve. We
but
hit
you're
a
getting
nerve.
this, you're writing this off. Like,
Mhm.
it drives me absolutely
Um,
insane.
yeah. Another area that I see a lot of small business owners not really know how to handle, and if well, you've missed it at this point, but definitely for next year preparing your contractors the correct way to track and also the report the earnings that you're paying contractors.
Yeah.
And now, if you don't hear anything else I'm saying, well, everything I'm saying is important, but when you have a contractor who's starting to work for you, please get a W-9, like initially. And they will
Mm,
say, "Oh, I don't have to do a W-9." Get the W-9 and have them in their own writing indicate the type of reporting entity that they are.
yeah.
Whether sole proprietor or LLC or partnership or corporation, get their contact information because in January, remember, we just went through this, but for every year, you're responsible if you pay them over $600 to send
Mm-hmm.
them a 1099 NEC under certain
Mm-hmm.
circumstances. But we talk about like the compliance thing with the IRS. If you get audited, they're going to want to see that W-9 in place.
Okay.
Um, Also, from the record keeping part, they're going to want to see some type of invoice that contractor has given you to prove that, Bob Smith was your marketing person, for
Yeah.
example, like with line items. So
Yeah.
people forget a lot of that,
Yeah.
that
I,
paper trail. They
yeah,
do.
I definitely appreciate you mentioning the W-9 thing because
Mhm.
I before Barter Black, I had an Airbnb management company, cleaning company, management company, and I
Mhm.
was doing things so wrong, so wrong. Like they will get that W-9 to you before you pay them if you do that first. When I
Yes.
tried to do that at the end of the year, it was a hot mess.
Yes.
And I'm just like,
People
they're
know what
like,
you're
I
about
was
to
paid
do.
already.
Yeah, they know.
So
It's so much easier. You think about it. I mean, it all comes to that mindset, guys. We're running a
a
business. And
business.
like if you go work for a W-2 employer, the first thing they do is get all that paperwork straight. Like you got to fill out the tax
Yep,
forms and all of that stuff for benefits.
all
Like
of it.
yeah, before you get that first check. But we got to start thinking more like, okay, so we are a business now.
Yeah.
So what are our processes we need to have in place to
Yep.
stay compliant and stay out of trouble?
Yeah. Yeah. Change that mindset. You are the business. You're not working. Well, some people may be still working for a business, but that's even better. Think about
Yeah.
yourself as the business and get all the paperwork up front.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, what can we do? I know January is over. We're in February. So what can we do now to start off on a good note for 2023? Like what tips would you give us to make sure that we won't run into the same issues that we're probably going to run into soon?
Yeah, so definitely if you haven't set up some form of accounting,
Mm,
I can't whether it's QuickBooks, Wave is free,
okay.
um, you know, a spreadsheet. Like you have to start setting up some way to track your business finances, the
Okay.
income, the expenses you're spending to make that income,
Mm-hmm.
and tracking what your net income is, the
Okay.
leftover part after the expenses have been paid.
Okay.
And I say that because, um, all of the stuff that we've been talking to, accurate tax planning,
Mm-hmm.
being able to pay our estimated taxes and things like that, that all starts with some type of bookkeeping in place
Right.
or record keeping
Right.
track. I would say too, if for some reason as a business owner you have been commingling bank accounts, meaning like, okay, I'm having my income come into my personal bank account,
Right.
spending, money to support my business out of my personal bank account. Or worse, you got the business account, but you still like
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't be able to look at your business account and see you paid, Mickey Mouse daycare $200. Like I shouldn't. No, 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 no. But I
Right.
see that. We have a
Yeah.
lot of conversations about that. So people are on their journey with that, but
Right.
try to be intentional as we're, moving into, 2023, substantially moving into 2023 with
Mm-hmm.
just having that separate, because it's going to do a couple of things, For one, it's going to set you up for success as
Yeah.
far as knowing just your business numbers.
Right.
It's going to have you be compliant with the IRS, and record keeping requirements with that. It's going to make tax planning a lot easier later on.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a lot of advantages of you keeping that business and
Yeah.
that. And I'll add this gem. I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice, but
Okay.
a lot of people go through so many they go through all the trouble of setting up that limited liability company, the
Yeah.
LLC, because to separate the business liability from the
Mm-hmm.
personal. But there are cases where if someone comes and sues that LLC, they call it piercing the corporate veil. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that the other like that plaintiff can ask the judge and say, well, wait a minute, look at these bank accounts, like they're mixing business and
Ah.
personal. We want to mix business and personal with this law,
That makes
and
so much sense.
yeah, so now not only are they able to get to your business assets, they can get to your personal assets.
Yeah.
Even for that reason,
Yeah.
definitely be better with your record keeping efforts and keep things separate. Work with
Yeah.
somebody if you know that's not your strong point.
Yeah. Exactly. You hear a lot of times people say, I don't do numbers. I don't like numbers. Well, get someone
Yeah,
who does
work,
do numbers.
work with someone who does. So it's
Yeah.
not, it's doable. It's doable.
Right. So for an entrepreneur, business owner who's listening to you, knows they need help, how can they
Hmm.
connect with you and learn more?
Yeah, so I do provide discovery calls depending on the time of the year. We're
Okay.
in the tax season now, so it's a little crazy, but we
Okay.
do have some discovery call, slots open. But you can go to my website, which is bbizsolution.com.
Okay.
And that's B as in boy, solution without the S dot
Okay.
com. And I'm also on IG as Tax Minded Bookkeeper. And yeah, those are the two
Okay.
ways to reach me, either with if you need help individually with your tax
Mm-hmm.
preparation as a business owner, or definitely if from a bookkeeping perspective, you're looking
Right.
for monthly bookkeeping, or as I mentioned, we offer like one-off coaching sessions, which has been
Okay. That's
really, really,
awesome.
yeah, it's been very
Yeah.
popular for solopreneurs. Where
Mm-hmm.
you get in there and I can help you set up your QuickBooks. We can help you kind of like be able to handle it on your own. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. And then all of that information will be in the show notes as well. So you can click on our link. Definitely, if you feel like you need help, please reach out and get help. We are, my motto or my mantra, or whatever you want to call it, for 2023 is that we're stepping out of the employee of in our business, and we're moving into the employer of our business. So in order to do that, you have to create that team around you to help you grow and to help you scale, or else it's just not going to happen.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
can't do it all yourself.
No,
Or
you can only go as far. Yeah, you can only go as far as your team. And if you're the team, then that's where, it stops there. So definitely reach out to Hope. But before we go, I wanted to give people watching and listening an opportunity to shoot their shot at you or Barter. So what types of things do you need in your business right now that people can help you with, that you are an expertise in?
So this is my turn to be vulnerable.
Yes.
Okay. So definitely any kind of virtual assistance,
Okay.
especially during the tax season, to help me like put together my newsletters, help me be able to fill some of my email, things like
Yeah.
that, manage that box. I definitely need help with that. And always marketing as well, too.
Okay.
I have a personal kind of goal to, as I'm getting out of the tax season, to just become a little bit more savvy with the video part of marketing, reels and things like that. Guys, I'm a numbers person. Help me out. Not pretty here,
Right.
But those are just two of the areas for sure I could
Okay.
definitely use. I would be open for bartering.
Okay. Awesome. So definitely put your comments in, contact Hope for a discovery call. She's looking for some type of marketing and VA services. So if you offer those things, definitely comment or reach out to her through our website or on Instagram. All of those notes will be in the show notes at the bottom of this. So thank you, Hope, for joining us today. I really appreciate it. Thank you everyone for watching and listening. And please, please, please do everything with Black excellence in mind. It is important that we scale these businesses, and I hope that you are getting something out of these calls. Definitely got some nuggets from this call with Hope. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me, and we are out.
Yeah, thank you.